Okay, welcome everyone. Let's jump into something really colorful and quite interesting today. The animated movie, The Mitchells vs. the Machines.
Yeah, it's a fun one. And for this deep dive, we're looking at a review from Moviescramble. It actually pulls out some, really neat observations about the film.
Absolutely. So our goal here isn't just to rehash the plot. We want to unpack what this specific review zeroes in on. Things like the movie's core idea, its, well, pretty unique animation.
The style is definitely a big part of it.
The humor, which the review suggests kind of works for different people, and the themes it tackles, which feel very, very current.
Right, because the review really taps into that that feeling, maybe that low-level hum of anxiety we all have about technology. Is it everywhere? Does it know too much?
Is it about to take over? Yeah.
Exactly. And this movie, as the review points out, just grabs that everyday sort of worry and boom, blows it up into this huge family-focused robot apocalypse adventure.
So the review kicks off by setting the scene with Katie Mitchell. She's this aspiring filmmaker, right? About to head off to college.
Yep. And the article really highlights how she's feeling, a bit disconnected from her family, especially her dad. And she's apparently dreading this forced family road trip he's cooked up.
That classic one last trip together thing.
Right. But what's interesting, and the reviewer notes this, is how that completely relatable family tension just gets, instantly thrown into utter chaos.
Yeah. How so?
Well, just as Katie's sort of trying to make her escape, mentally at least, the internet suddenly dies. Everywhere. And then, bam, the machines are in charge.
Whoa. Okay.
So that awkward family road trip, it immediately turns into, well, a fight for humanity's survival. And they have to figure out how to navigate the apocalypse together as a family.
Which is quite the setup.
Yeah.
And the article, it spends a bit of time on the humor, doesn't it? It suggests it works on a few levels.
It does. It calls out jokes about, families just staring at their phones at dinner. We've all seen that.
Oh, yeah. Guilty.
And specific gags about losing internet access right when the world's ending. The review found those scenes of people panicking because they couldn't upload a photo or whatever.
Hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious. It captures that absurdity of our digital dependency just perfectly, apparently, before the real robot threat even hits properly.
And then there are the dad jokes.
Oh, the dad jokes. Yes, the reviewer mentions those struggling with tech, YouTube tutorials, that kind of thing. They land differently, maybe, but still hit home. It seems to really nail those little digital quirks of modern life.
The review also gives the shout out to the voice cast, particularly Olivia Colman as P. Kale, the rogue AI.
Yes. And the reviewer points out that PL is a very clear nod to HAL 9000 from 2001.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice touch.
It is. And that kind of specific reference, that little wink for film fans, is exactly the sort of detail the review highlights. It shows the film's operating on multiple levels. It's not just a kid's movie.
Definitely. Okay, so let's talk visuals then, because the review really focuses on this. It calls the animation style particularly striking, vibrant. It even compares it specifically to Spider-Man, into the Spider-Verse.
Which, for anyone who follows animation, that Spider-Verse comparison is huge praise, right?
Absolutely. High bar.
Very high. And the review describes how the visuals are this mashup of styles. You've got doodles and notes popping up on screen showing character thoughts.
Sort of like Katie's own sketchbook coming to life.
Exactly. That's how the reviewer frames it. Everything's drenched in neon, these almost messy, energetic effects. It sounds chaotic, maybe? But the review argues it actually works incredibly well for the story, especially because it feels so tied to Katie's creative, maybe slightly scattered viewpoint. And it mentions her little homemade movies within the film, too, with the family pug, Monchi, as dog cop. Sounds like that's a real highlight of the visual fun.
Okay, that does sound pretty unique. But then the review mentions something maybe a bit less fun. A standout scene it calls slightly terrifying, the killer Furbys.
Oh, the Furbys. Yes. The reviewer even admits to having a childhood fear of Furbys, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So apparently watching thousands of them descend like a miniature furry electronic apocalypse was quite something for them personally.
I can only imagine. Like tiny, fuzzy Terminators.
Pretty much. They compare the scene to classic zombie hordes Dawn of the Dead, maybe? Or for younger viewers, maybe the creepier bits of Stranger Things. That specific, totally unexpected moment clearly made an impression.
Right. But the review wasn't, universally positive, was it? There was a critique about the action sequences.
Yeah, a slight reservation. The reviewer felt that some of the action sequences maybe got a bit repetitive after a while, described them as a bit of a loop, like go here, fight this robot, escape that trap,
Okay.
suggesting it maybe dragged the middle part of the film down just a little.
That's interesting.
And the reviewer does acknowledge, this might just be their personal take. They point out it is primarily a family film, so maybe that pacing works differently for the target audience.
Fair enough. And finally, the review gets into the film's core messages. It suggests there are a couple, but also that they feel slightly mixed. What do they mean by that?
Well, it seems the reviewer found a kind of tension there. Is the main point, put down your phone, connect with the people right in front of you, the real world.
Which seems like a pretty standard, understandable message for a film like this.
Right. But then is it also saying something positive about finding your tribe, your community online, connecting with people who share your interests, even if they're far away?
Ah, I see. So the film tries to maybe validate both.
That's what the article suggests, yeah. It seems to try and hold both ideas, the importance of face-to-face connection and the value of online community. But the reviewer felt these two messages didn't quite mesh into one single perfectly clear takeaway. They felt a little bit at odds, perhaps.
Interesting. So, okay, if we're looking at the movie through the lens of this Moviescramble review, what we're seeing is a visually really distinct film. It's funny, action-packed.
Centered on this quirky family dealing with the robot apocalypse.
Yeah. Loaded with humor that comes straight from our modern digital lives, apparently delivers some really unique, memorable moments like those Furbys.
Definitely the Furbys.
But at least in this reviewer's opinion, maybe has some slightly repetitive action bits, and interestingly, presents a potentially ambiguous stance on technology and how we connect.
Exactly. It seems to capture that chaotic, often funny reality of digital life today, while also digging into family dynamics under pressure, all wrapped up in that very specific, very vibrant visual style the reviewer describes so well.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Moviescramble review of the Mitchells vs. the Machines, let's just quickly recap the key things that review pulled out. The film plays on those underlying tech anxieties.
The machine takeover fears.
It's got that striking Spider-Verse-ish animation style, finds humor in our tech habits, pop culture nods, and, yeah, those dad jokes.
Can't forget the dad jokes.
Delivers some standout moments, like the slightly nightmarish killer Furbys.
Unforgettable, apparently.
But for this reviewer anyway, maybe some repetitive action sequences and potentially those slightly mixed messages about tech versus real-life connection.
So maybe something for you listening to think about is, what does this movie, filtered through this particular review, suggest to you about how we're all navigating technology today and how we balance that with the people, right there beside us?
Yeah, and building on that reviewer's point about those mixed messages, screen time versus reality versus online community, here's a final thought to chew on. How do stories, modern stories, handle these really complex, often contradictory tensions? Is it always necessary or even feasible for one film, one piece of art, to give us a single neat answer about something as messy and evolving as our digital lives?